Hello and good afternoon. My name is Gia R. Today I will be explaining the extent to which the gender pay gap has negatively impacted female athletes' mental health. The pay gap is defined as the wage difference between men and women in professional occupations. Inequalities in regards to pay have negatively impacted female athletes' mental health in many ways. Those of which including limiting their drive and motivation to continue playing the sport, increasing the rates of depression and anxiety, and by decreasing the rates of self-esteem. Women with lower income rates have been seen to have decreasing motivation to want to continue to play the sport they are playing. If you bring your attention to the chart, this red section displays 63% of all job offers and opportunities given to women that were less than that offered to men to do the same exact job. If you bring your attention to the blue section, this represents only 30% of all job offers and opportunities presented to women that were equal to or greater than those that were presented to men. Now, this chart also explains that all offers presented to women are up to 4% less than those given to men to complete the exact same task. Women in sports are not making sufficient enough funds to want to continue to stay in their sport. This is causing women to either not continue the sport after college or to go into an earlier retirement to pursue a different career. According to ESPN, it was estimated that only 2.8% of all draft-eligible athletes were actually drafted in the 2019 WNBA draft. Furthermore, it was said that only 3.2% of all media coverage focused on women, despite 40% of all professional sports being made up of women. Now, this is quite unsettling for female athletes as they're feeling unseen and underappreciated. They are not getting the same opportunities that men are getting, and they are being faced with more challenges that they have to overcome. There has also been found to be a link between this pay gap and rates of depression. The prevalence of depression and depression symptoms in female athletes has been spiking. If you pay attention to the red lines on the graph, they represent female D1 athletes who have symptoms of or have been diagnosed with depression. The blue lines represent male D1 athletes who have symptoms of or have been diagnosed with depression as well. If you take a moment to analyze this information, you will see that there is a noticeable significant difference amongst the red and the blue lines. This shows the percentage of psychosocial stressors that women are enduring throughout their athletic careers, and this is considered a disadvantaged social status. This not only means that they are looked down upon by their male counterparts, but as society as a whole. Society is continuing to look at quantitative data to determine whether or not female athletes are worthy of the same money and income that male athletes are generating. Similar findings were also found for those with anxiety. It was shown that women earning less than their male counterparts were 4% more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety. Both anxiety and depression are both treatable illnesses, but the spike seen in these two have been exponential since this growth has been increasing. Similar findings could be made with those with low self-esteem. Today I'll be using the examples of Chloe McNally and Serena Williams. Chloe McNally is a 25-year-old blue belt jiu-jitsu artist who competes at the international level. She has openly admitted that when she faces a worthy opponent, especially with media prevalence there, she feels as if her performance will not be up to par and she feels subconscious within herself, which has shown to have a direct correlation with a lower performance rate. When there's media coverage, she has found to be shown in the media as weaker and does not obtain the same revenue that the male counterparts are making in her career, despite being a champion and having many wins under her belt. This is the same going for Serena Williams. According to one of the stimuli provided by College Board, it stated that the president of the Russian Tennis Federation called Serena arguably one of the most greatest female athletes of all time. He called her and her sister Venus brothers and compared their masculine body types to those scary to look at. This not only is down-putting to her self-esteem, but this is teaching the youth of America and all across the world that look up to Serena Williams as a role model that it is okay for the men in the industry to continue to downgrade them. If you take into consideration the women's tennis mandated uniform, the majority of women are forced to wear a short skirt, which Serena Williams, being an activist, has tried to fight against this and only has had temporary victory. Now, this not only puts off women in the industry, but is showing the youth that it is okay, and Serena Williams, due to these faults, has had lower performance rates. Now, a solution to this may be professional organizations such as the WNBA providing professional mental health counselors for these women to help them to talk through their adversities and all the challenges they are facing throughout the workplace, and hopefully help catch some of these mental illnesses earlier on and help get them treatment. Limitations to this also include that not all female athletes have or ever will experience mental illnesses or symptoms of these mental illnesses. However, there is a vast majority of women in the athletic industry that are experiencing these issues, and without it being a topic of conversation, these women will unfortunately not see any change, and these numbers will only continue to grow. These are the resources I used throughout my presentation. And that's all. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Two questions for you. First up, how valid and reliable are the sources that you use, and then how do you know they are?
The sources that I used are quite reliable, as I found them mostly doctors through academic journals. When I found my sources, I did plenty of research on who authored them to find if the information was credible, and I did use a lot of mental health professionals to find the quantitative data throughout my presentation.
Okay, and what advice would you have for other researchers that consider this topic?
Some advice I would have for other researchers on this topic would be to focus on qualitative data instead, maybe surveys of women, as this topic is based off emotional aspects. I feel as if qualitative data would help to ensure that the claims are being advanced.